Hey there, friends. Nothing fancy on any kind of an intro today because we got a lot to go over. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot of your time on the front end of it. I will let a lot of you guys come in. I see a bunch of you guys have been in the chat room already, kind of hanging out over there. So I want to give everybody else a chance to kind of swing by and get in here before we get rolling. A ton of you guys are in here. Let's see. I've got before we get rolling. Let me make sure that I'm not. I want to hear my volume back on in my headphones. Let's see. Bob Masavo, Geo991 Tromeo, Augusta Mimo Chat. Let's see. Lee, Deep South EDC. Good to see you again, bud. Will's Garage. Let's see. I just want to keep saying Foreskin Bandit. Good to see you again, buddy. Antonio Diaz, C. Joe. I'm Maiden 304 or Iron Maiden, even better. Let's see. The Grim Streaker, Katie Cowboy, NP Diddy. And of course, a lot of you guys are coming rolling in here now. I've actually got some really cool stuff to go over tonight. I'm going to talk about a lot of the laundry list of things that have been happening this week. It's weird, kind of a low key busy week. It's not been like the same kind of busyness that we're typically used to when there's some kind of bills and whatnot, or when actually our public servants are in Washington D.C. doing their thing. So on that, in that respect, it's been relatively quiet. But there's a whole lot of other stuff that's been happening, and it's really weird because we've always kind of had this feeling that the ATF has been bold and did whatever they wanted to. But boy, it sure seems like they've been emboldened a whole lot more here lately. And to discuss further on that and really get into a pretty hot topic. And when I say hot, like I mean within the last half hour video that was dropped on this, I'd like to bring in John Crump. John, welcome to the show, and want to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself real quick, and we're going to jump right into this.
Now, my name is John Crump, and I write for Ammoland.com. I also have a couple of YouTube channels, John Crump News and John Crump Live, where I post over there. And I work for GOF, which is the sister organization of Gun Owners of America.
John, I put your banner on there. I could not fit John Crump Live and John Crump News, so I put John Crump News on there. So any of you guys who want to follow John, you definitely want to go check with John, because a lot of the stuff we pull from a lot of different resources to get a lot of this information out. But I will tell you that John is easily one of our top 2 resources that we pull from, probably our top 1 easily. So in many cases, if you really want to get that cutting edge news, you're probably going to get it from John before I even get it. So take a look at his channel. Also, you definitely want to follow him and a lot of his stories on Ammoland, because that's where a lot of his stuff is actually going to hit first. So follow him over there as well. John, let's break what you've been talking about. I know you've been working on this story for a bit, so I'm going to let you take it over.
Yeah, as you know, Paul, I've been working on this story for a few days, and I've been bouncing stuff off of you as we've been going along. But there was a bunch of force reset triggers, because this is going to be kind of a longish story. There was a bunch of people with force reset triggers that purchased them, and they were getting visited by the ATF. They all purchased them from Gunbroker. There was 3 sellers. There's 2 sellers that really haven't ran down because it was just a spattering of a few triggers. And looking at the list, there were about 3,000 triggers on there. So yeah, but the main source of the triggers was a guy named Rifle Remedy 2000 on Gunbroker. And then I started getting all these reports of solvent traps being confiscated. And once again, the name on it was Rifle Remedy 2000. So I started looking into this guy, trying to figure out who he is. And I was able to get in contact with him, and he admitted that the ATF did raid his apartment, and he said they took his computer. He said about 20 ATF agents and local police came through. They took his computer, cell phones, and anything that had anything written down. He claims that they didn't get his customer information, and kind of pointed to Gunbroker as, hey, they must have got all the customer information from Gunbroker because it was stored on the cloud. I changed the passwords. I can check to see who has access to the database. No one accessed the database. I don't believe that the full story is being told by him, because he stated that after 20 minutes, they took everything and they left and just never came back, which is, if 20 ATF agents and local law enforcement come through the door, you would think that they wouldn't just take your stuff in 20 minutes and come back. So while researching that story, I noticed that he was selling solvent trap parts still on Gunbroker, which begs the question. I'm not going to answer the question, but why, if you got rated for solvent traps? Oh, by the way, he didn't know I knew about the solvent traps. He thought I just knew about the triggers. And when at the end of the conversation, I said, okay, let's talk about the solvent traps now. He was like, no comment. And then he wrote and said he can only communicate through email once he get it cleared from his lawyer. So they did have a warrant with this guy. So my question is, why would somebody who got busted for, ATF come through for solvent traps and force reset triggers, be selling solvent trap parts? And today I noticed he put up a force reset trigger. So, I mean, I don't know. You guys can make up your own mind. I'm not gonna.
So can I put words? Can I put words in not your mouth? But can I just make an assumption here? Are we thinking that's a Fed? Fed
that's
guy?
That's for the people out there to.
I'm saying it. I mean, I'm with you. That seems awfully suspect. That's not how things work. And this seems like I don't know. I mean, I don't want you to get set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I wrote the article today, and in the article today, I have a video of, and I also dropped it on my news channel. And I also have a news video covering all this, or you can go to the Ammoland channel as well. In the video today, or the article today, I dropped the video of the ATF showing up at a Florida gentleman's house, where the ATF wanted his solvent trap. He said, I'm not saying anything. I'm not exercising my right to remain silent. They kept on pushing him, and he asked them if they got a warrant. They said no, that they just wanted the solvent trap. And he's like, I'm not going to say anything or give you anything. Come back with the warrant, then we'll talk. And then they said, well, now you're on our radar. We'll be seeing you soon, which kind of sounds like a threat to me. And we're going to federally charge you, which really sounds like a threat to me.
John, that video, I have that video queued up if you want to play it real quick.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play it.
Let me see if I can grab that real quick without messing all this up. Let's see. Let me grab that real quick,
because I have an update past that.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
So let's play the video, then I'll give you the update.
Okay, I don't know what's going on there.
Do you want me to share it? Then you can just add it to the screen.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe we can do that, because it was working before I brought you on here, and now it seems like I'm having trouble getting that on there. So you can share it on your screen. And
yeah. I'll share the one from Ammoland. I want to give them some love too. Well, I can't share it from my screen. What I can do is I can do this. Watch. Just give me a second here. All right, now, Paul. Now, all I need you to do is go ahead and add it. And let me know when you add it, because I just accidentally clicked off. So. All right, you have it right here. Okay, let's go. Or you just put up the volume and.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Good. Hey, Nick, what's going on, man?
How's it going?
Hey, with the ATF.
Okay.
I'm hearing about a solvent trap that you ordered.
Okay.
You still have it?
I'm not going to answer any questions.
Okay. Well, we're actually here to recover because they're being used as suppressors.
You have a warrant?
I don't have a warrant. If you let me finish, I can talk to you. Okay?
Yep.
They're being used as suppressors. Now, we're just here to pick them up. If you don't have it, you can sign that you don't have it anymore.
I'm not going to sign anything.
Okay, don't sign anything. So what will happen is if you're caught with it, we'll prosecute you federally
Sure.
for an NFA item. Okay? You're obviously going to be on the radar now. I appreciate all the cooperation. We just came to pick it up and have it destroyed. But since you're being such a polite person,
I mean,
we'll leave it at that. We know what you're using it for, correct? I mean, you bought a jig with it for your AR-15?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So,
this isn't the first time we've done this.
if you want to come back with a warrant, I mean, you can do that.
Okay,
Take
absolutely.
your hand out of your pocket for me, please. I'm sorry? Take your hand out of your pocket for me. You're on my property. I can put my hands where I want.
We're law enforcement. We're talking to you in an official capacity, so
You're on
my
my
having
property.
in your pocket. So we're not trying to be here to be jerks here.
You are, though. You're the ATF. You're the ATF.
We're idiots?
No, I didn't say that. I said you're the ATF.
Correct.
Your entire job is to take away people's guns.
I don't think you have any idea what our job is.
I know
actually.
everything about your job.
Oh,
all it
please
is
tell
to
me.
erode the Second Amendment.
Okay.
Shall not be infringed.
So violent criminals with guns that we take off the street. That's
At Waco, like at Ruby Ridge.
Oh my gosh.
My dogs.
You need to quit.
I need to keep my dogs in the house.
Reading so
Give
many
me a
books.
break.
You're watching too many shows.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll find you again someday.
No, you won't.
Anyway, have a good one.
Yeah,
I
you too.
appreciate the cooperation.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir.
Watch out for the dogs, guys.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
So
Just $67.
Oh, let me just stop sharing the screen and
Never
just
need to
close
pick up the
that.
camera or use any.
All right.
so much stuff to talk about there. Okay. First of all, and I talked about this in my videos, the arrogance, the smartassery, the trying to instigate this guy, they were trying to get him mad. You're calling us idiots. I mean, so many things that they said, they were trying to get this guy worked up. And I'm blown away. I don't understand how these guys do. Surely they didn't know they were being filmed because, obviously the camera looked like it was being hidden. But is this how they act whenever they know that there's no proof, or do their bosses okay with this? You know what I mean? And I'm sure they are, but I'm just saying, are we okay with these guys being on camera acting like this? Because that's not the way anybody acts. If you're selling me a hamburger, I wouldn't expect somebody from McDonald's to act like that.
No, especially if you go into someone's property. There's been other people that I've talked to, and I've seen other videos where the ATF agents are like, hey, if you have these, turn it over. You can turn it over. And they're like, you have a couple days to decide. Give us a call if you want to turn it over. And there was like no threats or anything else like that, which I still don't agree with what they're doing, but that is a better way of handling it the way that they did. And in fact, today, that's one of my viewers, his name is Nick. They contacted Nick's employer and said, hey, this is the ATF. We're just verifying that this guy works for you.
You've got to be kidding me.
Nope. No.
Seriously, and I'll say this with all due respect to anybody out there. Well, I know we don't have a lot of confidence in our politicians, but this really needs to go somebody, you said this was out of Florida?
Yes.
This has to go to somebody. That's unacceptable for anybody to act like that. This is pure harassment. And for them to be in the guy's house and tell him to take his hands out of his pocket. Oh my God. I am not a violent person, but if I have anyone in my house and they tell me to take my hands out of my pocket, come on, man, really? You've got to be kidding me that it's not acceptable behavior.
No, it's not.
What is the I mean, you're speaking to Nick, right?
Yes.
What is his next step? I mean, what does he do from here? Is he just waiting? I mean, I don't even want to know if he's got solvent traps. If he does, they're legal to buy. So I don't care
Well,
about that. But what is his
Form 1, so yeah.
well, okay, and that's a good look. Let's talk about that real quick if you don't mind. And I don't know how much detail you know or have on that. Okay, you could form 1 solvent traps and make your own at some point. Why and when did the ATF suddenly decide to stop allowing that?
That is the question. If you asked the ATF, oh, and I see Timothy Jackson GOA is aware of it, and you'll see more coming out soon. But that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, if you ask the ATF, they're like, oh, you can make solvent traps into suppressors. It's like, well, then why are you busting people for having solvent traps and calling them suppressors? And then they don't really have a good answer. So it is one of these things where it is illegal and legal at the same time. It's like, I don't know if anybody, there's something called Schrodinger's cat. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a thought exercise that, that's used a lot in quantum mechanics and stuff like that. Where you take a cat, you take a cyanide pill, and you don't know if the cyanide pill, I'm just going to simplify it. Like, you have a cat in there, you have a cyanide pill, you don't know if the cyanide pill falls down and kills the cat or not. Is the cat alive or dead? It's both, right? It's a thought exercise about the like super state of the superposition of electrons is what it boils down to, but I'm not going to get into a physics thing here.
Well, let me give you I'll give you a caveman analogy. To me, it's like if you go down a street and there's no posted speed limit sign, it's okay to do 25 miles an hour because that's typically what unposted speed limits are, is 25 miles an hour. So you can't go above that if there's no speed limit signs. So if you're doing 25 miles an hour on a street that doesn't have a posted speed limit sign, and then a cop pulls you over and said, oh, the speed limit's really 15 here, it's not 25. Oh, well, there's no sign on there, so I assumed it was 25. Well, it's not, it's 15, even though there's no sign. That's what it reminds me of. You have a rule that's always been an unwritten rule or even an official rule, but it's just that it's not openly I guess enforced in different ways. So who do you decide to enforce it on? I mean,
well, if you look at the North Dakota decision, the GOA North Dakota decision, the ATF argue there that it is legal to make your own suppressors from a solvent trap. Now we get into the thing where on the Form 1, they want you to Form 1 the actual item before you purchase it, but you also have to submit pictures of the action. The item. So it's like you got to submit pictures of something that you
chicken,
gotta buy.
egg.
Yeah. You can't buy it until you got an approved form, but you can't get a approved form until you buy it and take pictures of it. So it doesn't make any sense.
So you're breaking the rule no matter what. There's no way to not break the rule.
Yeah, it's just you just plow into that wall.
Oh, geez. So
that's what they want to do. I mean, that's the whole point of a lot of the regulations, and that's why a lot of the regulations are the way they are.
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't want to get into what he's actually doing, but this sounds like it wasn't his first visit by the ATF. Is that correct?
Nick's?
Yes.
No, this was his first visit.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, so, he just doesn't have any love for the ATF.
So, I guess the reason why I mentioned that is because it sounded like they knew that I don't know what he was doing or whatever. I'm just curious if
they got it because they got the customer records of the Rifle Remedy 2000,
which makes me even more suspect of Mr. Rifle Remedy 2000. That's I don't know, man. I don't like to. I mean, in our business, I mean, if you get to making assumptions too much, it'll get you in a bad place. But it sounds like there's too many negative things surrounding a particular person out there. So maybe people need to stop doing business with him until he proves that he's a respectable businessman. Because why is he giving that information up? Is this one of those people that could put, and let's, I guess, be devil's advocate. If this guy is
why, I would say that there's no clear evidence that he gave up the information. I just want to put that out to make sure.
Okay, I'll follow you. Clear. So, okay,
you can make your own. You can make your own thing. Yep. So look, like Uncle Crufty knows what's down with the Schrodinger's cat.
So you were talking earlier about the I don't know, about how the was it maybe with your video earlier? I'm trying to think of which one you were discussing. It might have been one of your videos you were talking earlier about. Well, let me get my notes right, because I had a note that I wanted to ask you, and I don't want to ask the wrong thing because of your contacts. I'm going to save that question for later. It's a different topic. I don't want to go into that right now. I have a reason for asking you this at the right time. So what's next? What's next for Nick? I mean, what does Nick do? I mean,
right now he's contacted an attorney, which is a good thing.
Good.
I think he is most likely going to be on another person's show, maybe that have something to do with GOA.
Okay.
Little hint there. He might be on OAN. Like I told him, I was like, man, it's like when I first met Jordan Vinro of JFD Supply, and he told me some stuff. I was like, would you mind if I get you to help me out with something? He's like, yeah, sure. It's like, I need you to testify in front of Congress. And he's like, what?
That's all?
Yeah, geez. So I get people into a mess sometimes.
We were talking a little bit earlier about when you have somebody who is giving you information and a source and all that, what kind of heat do you get whenever you are giving something from a reliable source? You know it's accurate, but you can't divulge that source. And then people are asking, oh, anybody could have done that. How do you handle that? Just out of curiosity, because I've had people talk about your video that we just showed that, oh, it could have been anybody that did that. What's your response to that?
My response to that is there is a reason why Steve Dettelbach reads my articles. And there's a reason why the ATF is not allowed to talk to me unless it's through legal counsel. So, like, and if my sources weren't accurate, then that would not be the case.
Good point.
I mean, the whole brace rule. I unveiled the brace rule. I unveiled the frames and receiver rule in October before either one was even announced. Before Biden even came into the office, I'm like, this is what the ATF wants to do. And then there was, I got a picture from inside the meeting with then head of the ATF, Regina Lombardo, and I got a cell phone picture of their meeting and released that as proof to one of my things. I've released hundreds of pages of internal ATF documents, leaked documents.
I mean,
I've been cited in Congress.
I know you're a reliable source. I just, when somebody's like, what's it could have been anybody that's doing that video. I'm like, how do you even? I mean, I don't even feel like I need to entertain that. But people have this. For as gullible as people seem to be online, they sure ask the wrong people the wrong questions sometimes. And like you and I were saying earlier, it puzzles me how they don't ask the people like ATF, for instance, when they come knocking at their door. Why don't they ask them all these questions? How do I know you're a legitimate ATF agent, or is that really a legitimate rule or law or whichever?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what else you got going on? I know you got tons of stuff. You've actually been dropping some stuff all week long on several things. Talk a little bit more about what you got going on.
Yeah, I've been under the weather, but I've been kind of fighting through it. There you have the very interesting soap opera of Rare Breed versus versus BDU, which is interesting now that the patent office, the ATF, and the DOJ is going to be weighing in on that trial. That's definitely interesting. I can't wait to read their amicus briefs there on that. I've been following like
quick question on that. Quick question on that, John. I'm not a customer of Big Daddy Unlimited, so I'm not saying this to be smart aleck. Are they still in business? They still are operating? BDU is?
They are still operating, yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just curious.
So that's going to be interesting. In the Rare Breed case, Kevin Maxwell, who's the owner of Rare Breed and also representing Rare Breed, this is the North Dakota case, that got interesting. Basically, the ATF argued that they don't have standing, and that's because they don't actually have any physical offices in North Dakota. What they have is a region office, which is like a timeshare type office. And that's what they're using as their office. So the ATF says they're not actually here. They just did this because they're court shopping, because the courts up here are a little bit more favorable. And then Kevin Maxwell has now asked for an extension to respond to the ATF. There's been a lot of extensions in that case. Just crazy. GOA lost their injunction in North Dakota. What was interesting about that is the judge throughout his opinion referred to the ATF as the AFT, which is
oh
yeah.
Gosh.
The new rule going into effect is what I've been covering, a lot of the fallout from that and everything else like that. That's been going on. There in GOA's case in New York over the CCIA, the Concealed Carry Improvement Act, that has been going on for a while. Stephen Stambolier argued that I have a good feeling about that case. The judge should be releasing his decision anytime he wants to release it before September 1st, when the CCIA is supposed to go into effect. I got a feeling that they're going to get an injunction in that case, which would make me very, very happy.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been following some other inside information, building some other stories that I don't want to really tip my hand to, but there's some bangers coming out pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think is the whole you mentioned earlier about something about GOA, and something hit me as when you said that. Is the Foia thing, is that supposed to be available to the public, right?
Yeah, the Foia thing is available to the public. That's what project I'm working on for GOF. That's actually a GOF thing.
Is that out there yet?
Yeah, you can go to the GOF website.
Let's talk about that. I think that's like ridiculously interesting. I'd like to talk about that for a second.
It's gunowners.com. It's not exactly in the best shape. I'm shaping it up to break it down. I got to go through all the FOIAs and basically summarize them, but we're taking all our FOIAs and we are making them available to the public, and it's going to have a breakdown, description, categories, everything. So if you want to go look up some information, and a lot of it we're going to do, and big announcement, we're going to do like court documents too. So a lot of it's going to be used for defense attorneys and other attorneys that are suing. You can go there. You can use our FOIA information, which is going to be broken down, summarized, and everything else. That's what I'm doing for GOF. And then you can go pull down court documents that can maybe help your case. The first one we did was the auto key card case, where we turned up a bunch of information, including an example of what the ATF said is the exact moment that a lightning link or a swift link becomes a lightning link or a swift link and becomes illegal. And if you look at the auto key card, it's not to that. It has to be cut out to the exact dimensions, and we released those papers. And we have a bunch of other stuff that we are going to be releasing soon. So
Okay.
we're just going through, going back, releasing new information, then going back and fixing the old information that's not really in a good format, or like
Yeah.
an easily accessible format.
I'll tell you, that's incredibly useful to me, but super interesting. I mean, anyone that just has questions about various things, stories that pop up many times, there's a FOIA request, but people don't take the time to go and read that. To me, that's going to be super useful to people in the future.
Yeah, I read probably a couple hundred pages of FOIAs a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of FOIAs out there, and it's very, very interesting. Like we
Yeah.
have one FOIA where we FOIA'd the FOIAs of the antis, like what are they FOIAing? And it was really funny because we FOIA'd their FOIAs, and one of the FOIAs had them filing FOIA request on pro-gun groups. So we FOIA'd a FOIA of a FOIA.
That's funny.
It was like some Inception bullshit there.
What was there any information? I mean, if it's a freedom of information request, I mean, was there any actually there, or was it just a circle?
Yeah, it was just a circle on that one, but you get a lot of good information in a FOIA, and a FOIA is not hard to do. I mean, there's plenty of guides online. I think I know I have a video. I don't know if anybody watched it, but I have a video on how to do a FOIA on my news channel. I put it out as like one of the first videos I dropped on there. But yeah, so I did a FOIA, a video on how to do a FOIA, because I think it's very, very crucial. And I want to get more people reading the FOIAs and reading the documents to learn how to read them and to see what they look like and what to look for and what a glomar is, for example. If you ask anybody what a glomar is, they're like, what the hell is a glomar? A glomar is just a redaction. There was an incident with a CIA ship called the glomar. So now everything is called glomar if it's redacted.
Okay.
First time they used redactions, so name stuck.
Well, it's interesting stuff. I mean, I love reading that kind of stuff. I've always been a little bit of a geek when it comes to that kind of stuff. So anytime you guys are putting stories out and you're including any of the official documents or the FOIAs, I get a kick out of that, because they're so interesting. And in many cases, there's so much detail that's still buried in there.
Oh yeah, you can get a lot of information on, and sometimes things slip through.
Yep.
Which is interesting. One of the things that I like to do is if I get if something leaked, I will FOIA that, even though I have the leaked unredacted copy, because I want to see exactly what they redact and if they're being honest by what they redact.
I got you.
So
that's a good point.
For example, I had one where they redacted some stuff and they said, oh, this is law enforcement sensitive. And it wasn't. It was, I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't. So I wrote back, I was like, are you sure? They're like, yeah, we're positive.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. Then I wrote an article releasing the,
hey,
look, the ATF says this is law enforcement sensitive when it's not. They're trying to hide this.
Oh, wow. So how many times has the ATF visited you?
They're not allowed to visit me or talk to me.
So have they before?
No. Now every time I go for a comment or something, I get a response from their legal team.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know what that's about, but no, they haven't. I've never been visited by the ATF.
Well, I'd really like to get the ATF to not be allowed to visit me too. How do you manage that? I'm just joking with you. I'm sure a lot of people would love that. That's your superpower, right?
I see a question out there about FOIA. NP Diddy, you will not be able to, because that will fall under PPI, personal identifiable information. So that is non-FOIAble. That is exempt.
Was that the right question that I pinned there?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the immigration issues is about you, then you can fill out an extra paper that will release it, and then they will give it to you. But If it's about someone else, you're not going to get it for that. So
All right. So tell me a little bit. I'm just curious because I know we've talked about this before, but I'd like to know a little bit more about. I know we've talked before about you guys. It seems like you're always putting stories out. What's the clock like for you guys? I mean, do you get that page? And I'm speaking old school here with that pager going off. Do you get a page like at 11 or 12 o'clock at night that something's happening or it's going to happen in the morning or something?
It depends. It really depends. Some things can wait, and some things are like we need it out now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it really depends.
Okay.
Okay. Tim Lewis wants to know who's the best lawyer for 2A. What type of 2A? Are you talking about civil, criminal? And if you're talking about criminal, and also what state, there's a bunch. If you want to email me at info@crumpy.com, I'll help you out there. But I need a little bit more information, and I don't think I'll be able to get it on this. But I'm more than willing to answer questions or anything, or you can just join my Discord. I answer a lot of questions.
What's your email address again?
Info@crumpy.com.
Info.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can do that. Well, I don't know if it will let me, but I'll try.
Is that right? Oh, what did I do?
Info@crumpy.com, not Gmail.
Oh, I see what I did. Well, I'm lazy, so I have this shortcut that when I put the word at in there, it does at gmail.com. So let me get that out of there.
Pistol braces, the last we've heard, it's going to be December before we see anything. So we have some time.
So those changes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm also hearing that it's going to be a free tax stamp, and that's why eForms was created. But I don't know. I don't know if how accurate that is.
A free tax stamp. Wow. So they'll take that much longer than what they take now. Awesome.
Yeah, I have a couple million added in there.
So would that be considered a stabilizing brace forgiveness thing, kind of like the student loan forgiveness thing? You're putting that tax for the brace?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Don't even get me started on that, man. I didn't finish college because I couldn't afford to finish college, and these assholes are out there getting basket weaving classes paid for now. That blows my mind, man.
Yeah, I worked like through college, I worked through high school to pay for college, and I worked through college to pay for college, and then after I got out of college, I worked to pay for college until I finally paid it off.
Well, like my wife said, her brother has 3 kids over in the Houston area, and they'll be working until they die. They have good jobs. They'll be working until they die because they paid for all 3 of their kids to go to college. And now instead of taking loans out, and now here they are, like, wow, could have pocketed an extra 30 grand this weekend.
Yeah, you could have. I mean, that would have been nice. Well, if they do the free tax stamp, that's going to back up everything. But
sure it will. Yeah, I mean, anything you need and all that's gonna. Now, how long would that last? So was that saying that there's going to be a time where everybody can quote grandfather theirs in with a free tax stamp, and then they'll have a time? And I know this isn't for sure yet. I'm just speculating. Then after a certain point,
probably. I'm thinking probably between 90 and 120 days, but I mean that's just a guess.
Yeah. And then after that, you pay your $200 to put a freaking brace on your firearm.
Yeah. Well, I think the braces at that point will be done.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, why would you, unless they make really cool braces that are better than stocks?
Yeah. Can I explain how sales record receipts or applications for Form 1 is not considered a registry as a form of a registry? It is a registry, and it is because Form 1s, that's for like the NFA. So it goes to NFA. There is a registry for NFA items. So the answer is that is a registry.
Yeah, I mean, they're not hiding that. That's the intent of it.
Yeah. So that for if you fill out a Form 1, you do go on the NFA registry.
You're saying I recognize that my stuff's going to be registered here.
Yeah. Their NFA GCA is different than like the different classes of weapon. Class 3 firearms is treated differently from like non-NFA firearms. But there's tons of registries. There's the out of business record registry, which they don't claim as a registry. And now they want to, I'm not sure if you saw that, but they want to provide uninterruptible access. They want everyone to store, because in the new rule, you have to store records forever. And now they want you to store them electronically. They're encouraging people to store them electronically. But if you store your 4473 electronically, you have to give the ATF uninterruptible access to your data, which is a registry right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that you're actually opting into because you're agreeing to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, if the gun stores are agreeing to it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Jeez, man. Well, you knew what was happening whenever they started moving all the information on the 4473 to the front of the page. Remember how you had to flip to the back to put the gun information and all that on there, and then they started shifting everything and moved it around to the front of the page.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious why a lot of this was taking place. We were like, come on, man, really?
No.
I mean,
Well, the out of business, the scanning of the records in the out of business center. I was doing a story on Walmart turning over information, and this is how I found out about that. I was doing a story about Walmart turning over 20. They shut down 20% of 20% of the stores that sold firearms. They shut down, so they were going to ship over 500,000 records. Or something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but they were going to ship over a bunch of records electronically, and the ATF was like, "Oh yeah, we're transferring, we're converting all the records to electronically anyway, so that's fine with us." And that's when I thought to myself, I was like, "Wait a minute, what the hell?
Yeah. It's not fine with us."
Yeah, and I got that through a Walmart leak. Somebody at Walmart sent that to me, and then I got another leak confirming it on the ATF side to break that. So sometimes stuff happens like that.
Right. So where is my list at here?
There's still some good people out there.
The ATF app, have you downloaded it?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No, that and TikTok when I go on my phone.
Right, exactly. So the IRS agents training, I've heard conflicting stories on that. Is that actually was that some other kind of class, or was that actually the IRS agents training? Because after I put my video out, different people have said different things, and I haven't had the time to go back and research that.
Which IRS training?
The one where they beat on the door and the idiots come through the door holding the guns all wrong, teacupping the guns and everything. And
yeah, I haven't really looked into that. So
I'm just curious if anybody knew. I was actually told that the one person who actually corrected me actually said that was, that's not every ATF agent getting that. That's just the ones that are in the criminal investigation. I said, well, even worse. So that means that's the ones that they're going to be carrying guns.
Yeah, they were really teacupping gun. What did they watch a movie or something?
I suppose. I mean, they literally had the hand like this carrying the gun, and that's not the ones that didn't have their fingers exactly behind the slides like that. Those were pretty interesting to me. I'd love to go to the range with those.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Better
one
bring
time,
Band-Aids.
it'd be interesting once.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing a lot about the IRS stuff, but I haven't. But I've been concentrating more on. I have so much ATF stuff, and I have so much stuff total that I just don't have the bandwidth to look into it. I mean,
Right.
I really wish I did, and I wish I could like clone myself, but every night I was like, I'm gonna just relax after I get my kids to sleep because you always have to make family time. I'm a dad and I love my kids, so they come before anything. So
So we're taking up your free Friday night. So thanks for that.
yeah, no problem. So so I usually get my kids to sleep, and then I always plan to, all right, I'm gonna get my kids to sleep, I'm gonna put on a movie, I'm just gonna tune out, and then something happens. And then I'm up writing until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because writing takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Writing takes a long time, and especially when you write for Ammoland. Ammoland is like legit. Is like legit. Everything's fact checked. Everything is it like everything has to be tip top and everything. So you're not going to get any BS on Ammoland.
Yeah. No, I agree. I use it for a resource for sure.
So like just double checking, like today I sat there and it's like, okay, when we're reviewing an article, it's like, well, who are your sources? This guy, this guy, this guy. All right. Do you have any other corroborating evidence? Because you can't put that all in there. Like, yes, here's the information for this guy, here's the information for this guy, here's the information for this guy. To that will corroborate the stuff that I'm writing about. Even though their stuff didn't make it in the article, it's still in the back end.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's a lot of more work that goes into it.
Right.
For every article I put out, it's just not writing the time it takes to write the article.
Right.
For every article I put out, it's a lot of hours behind the scenes doing stuff before the article's ready to be written. Like the article today, I probably got about, I don't know, like 30, 40 hours in. But also, there is a lot of times when I get tips and other information and I run down that rabbit hole just to find out that it's BS. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. And this is gonna be one of those Barbara Walters questions. So what do you do for fun? Because the whole research thing is interesting, but it doesn't sound like you're like wake up and go, yeah. I mean, what do you do for fun?
Oh, the research thing. Let me just say something about the research thing. The research thing is an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at it.
It's fulfilling, yeah.
I don't know if it's fulfilling, but it's just.
Oh yeah, it
is. I have this thirst for knowledge. I have this thirst. I want to know. I want to know exactly what's going on. I want to know what's going on. And not only that, I look at all the gun owners out there. I look at the American public and the ATF and all these other things out there, all these other government agencies that want to violate everyone's rights out there. I need to let them know. I need to report on that. And if a gun company does something bad or does something sketchy, that's going to negatively affect the gun owners out there. I will burn them because I have to, because I'm looking out for the gun owners out there. And a lot of people, not you, but a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of people other places are looking out for the industry because that's how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, if I could walk away from all this and
right.
not worry about it and not have it affect my life.
Yeah.
But I want to give everyone the information that they need. And a lot of times I won't give opinions. I'll just say, hey, here's the information. You decide on it. So it's more of a calling, more of a like a duty that I feel that I have. You know, it's kind of weird to think, but it's a duty that I have to the public because, you know, I'm a member of the public. I'm not. I don't consider myself a member of the gun industry or anything like that. I consider myself as an American gun owner, as an American who has constitutional rights, and I've seen my rights be violated by different things.
Right.
Like we are so far off. Some people say we need a new revolution. I don't think we need a revolution. I think we need a restoration of our republic, a restoration back to our human rights being restored. And so that's why I do what I do. But your question was what do I do for fun? I game a little bit, you know, hang out with my kids, hang out with my family. I'm with my family all the time. So I like the game, and I like to do. Okay, this is gonna sound really, really geeky. I don't know if I've ever said. I like to do math.
Oh gosh.
I like to do
Oh
math,
my gosh.
and I like to.
Hey, honey, you want to go do some math?
Yeah, my wife is not into that, and I like studying like science, particularly quantum mechanics, string theory, stuff like that, M theory, stuff, you know, like unified field theories. That's one of the things I'm really into, unified field theories. In fact, Flying Rich, who's my co-host of my podcast, he's into all that stuff. And my wife will come downstairs sometimes and it'll be like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She's like, what are you doing up? I'm like, I'm talking to Rich. You want to know what we're talking about? She's like, I already know what you're talking about. She goes back upstairs because we're talking about physics, and she doesn't mind that because if I don't talk to Rich about it, I would be trying to talk to her about it. So she's like, go talk to Rich.
Yeah.
So Rich will tell you that that I talk
we
about
need to
that
get
stuff a lot.
we need to try to get Rich on here with you one of these Friday nights. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, he's out with his wife tonight, but I'm sure we could arrange that. He's on
that'd be
every
cool.
freaking podcast and every live stream on YouTube, it seems. So
Yeah.
every time you look, there's Rich.
That'd be good to have him on here. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Hank Strange one time told me, yeah, Rich is crazy, and I laughed about it. And then one time I called him, I was like, dude, I think Rich is really crazy. He's like, I told you that.
Yeah.
I tell everyone that, and no one believes me. Everyone thinks I'm just saying that in hyperbole, but
Right.
he's legit crazy. He crashed 2 planes because he built 2 experimental planes and crashed one into a car and the other one into 2 houses.
Good Lord.
And he still flies.
Oh my gosh. So what do we have to look forward to this week that you can actually talk about? Anything?
Let me think. There is going to be some interesting news out of California dropping.
Okay.
That should be breaking this week.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. The New York thing, the GOA case in New York against the CCIA, that should be dropping soon as well. So hopefully you will be able to talk about that a lot.
Okay.
And I think that is going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a win for GOA.
Okay, good.
Then I think I'm going to be on OAN again. And I'm working with Nick to get him on some shows so he can share his experience with the whole entire thing.
Let's see what is next week. If you want to, why don't you see if we can get if it's something you're interested in doing. If you're talking to Nick, see if he wants to come on next Friday night, and we can just the 3 of us talk about what went down.
I'm sure he probably will.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. I think people probably have a lot of questions for him as well.
Yeah. He is definitely a patriot. He's definitely willing to stand up
Hey, the way
and talking to him, he's like, "Hey, man, I don't want any credit. You know, you put it out because I like what you do. You go ahead and put it out, and you know, use it any way you want. I'm not looking to get anything. I'm not looking for anything. I need people to know what the ATF is doing and how they act."
Right. I thought it was admirable what he did, the way he handled himself and everything.
Yeah, he didn't get confrontational or anything.
Nope.
He stood his ground and
they were baiting him, so it was cool the way he handled himself, which, by the way, I have to come clean on what you and I talked about earlier on the video because it makes me feel bad. Just so you guys know, because some of you have already asked questions about it, why the video was up, why it was back down. John was breaking this story today about the ATF going in Nick's house, and John shared the video with a couple of us guys, but off the record, and specifically said that the story had not broken yet. Well, I just happened to be home on my lunch break. I knew I would not be home for the afternoon. So I was like, well, let me hurry up and throw a video together. And whenever I upload a video to YouTube, you have the option that you can choose for it to go public, unlisted, or private right away. Well, I always have mine go public because they're all going to get demonetized. Like I used to make mine go up and be private when I would upload them to give me time to appeal the demonetization. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm so used to being demonetized, I just set it to public. So every time I upload a video, I can walk away from it instead of having to come back to it later. Well, I didn't change that setting. So my video went public before John was ready for our video to go public. And I felt so bad because I get this text from John later on. Hey, Paul, can you take your video down for a minute? And as soon as he said that, I was like, shit.
That wasn't Ammoland. They kind of rightfully so. At me, they weren't really mad at you, Paul.
No, I'm mad at me because I did that and you did that in confidence to share the story. So I feel bad about that, and I felt like I needed to say that on here because it was all me. So I hurried up and went and put it private to kill it. And a lot of people were commenting like, hey, where's the video? You know, I haven't seen it. And people were talking on the live stream before we went live saying, hey, man, your video was up. Now it's not there anymore. And now it's back again. Because when you told me I could go ahead and put it back out, I did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I was giving Ammoland a chance. It was going to break on Ammoland first.
Well, I hope they know. I don't know if it's Freddie who was giving you a hard time, but if it was Freddie.
It was the CEO.
Okay, well, whoever it is, let them know. I mean, hopefully you told them the story. I mean, this video is proof if you have to go back and show them or whatever. But I just want them to know that, I would have never put that video out without your blessing. And I feel bad that it got out before you guys had a chance to put it out there.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, I did the same thing to GOA.
Yeah, well.
That's why now I changed it so like all my videos go up private.
Yeah, well, I did too. That change has been made. That will never happen again on my watch. So I'm good. I mean, the folks that watch my videos will know I'm not that kind of guy. I would never do something like that. And I just felt like a total piece of crap whenever you asked me. As soon as you asked me to take it down, I was like, oh shit, it's live. I knew as soon as you said that that went up as public.
I knew you're probably gonna want me on, come on. So I just wanted to I wanted to brief you because I figured it was gonna be close to the time I was gonna be on.
Right. Well, I appreciate it. And again, my apologies to whoever they need to go to over at Ammoland. Let them know that was not my intent.
And plus, you helped me behind the scenes a little bit with stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still, I mean, a rule's a rule, or, it's kind of a code. You know what I mean? I would never do that. I know, put it to you this way. I know people who would do that. That's, I don't want to be in that category. That's not the kind of person that I am.
Yeah, no. I mean, you were actually, you put out a video and I did an article around your video.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm a writer first.
That's the thing that too, though. I wanted to mention that too the other day. I never know when I have something that is useful to you because you're always before anybody else getting the information out. So I never know, is this something John, I feel like if I send it to John, John's gonna go, yeah, I knew about that last week. You know what I mean? I feel dumb whenever I have to, if I got something I want to send to you.
No, just send me anything, man.
No, I will now. But,
Yeah.
and what's cool is, I will say this, and I'm sure you see it too. All these people in this comment section over here, man, I get a lot of stuff through comments on YouTube. There's a lot of people out there that are kind of like, you know, what do they call it? The not citizen journalists, but something like that. I mean, there's a bunch of that out there, and there's a lot of eyeballs out there, and it's so amazing. I'll get like some guy will, because I post my email address out there, and people will blow up my email when something goes down, and it's so cool because I can go back and reference that and see that it's legit. And that's I think what I had sent over to you for that guy Paul. I mean, it was somebody that sent that to me through email just from watching videos. So it's neat that all these people are out there watching out for information to share with all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, there definitely is. And there is a lot of there's a lot of investigations that go into this. And I don't know. I think we need more people to start investigating things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, crowdsourced investigations. Exactly. That's perfect. That's a perfect answer for what, not answer, but name for what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, that really is.
We need more crowdsourced investigations. Like, I don't know. On 4chan, they call it weaponized autism. We need that for in the 2A.
Right.
Because if we pull all our information together and we start working together, we could expose a lot of things.
Well, and I agree with that. And I see a lot of you guys kind of as gatekeepers for what's going on with this, because the traditional media, whether it's online or what, but you know, the MSNBCs and the CNNs and all that, they're so unreliable. Even Fox News, they're so unreliable that I don't think people rely on them for news anymore. I truly believe they tune into that for entertainment. And for the people who don't want to be challenged intellectually, I think they tune into that stuff to validate how they feel about things rather than to learn new stuff. And it's interesting to me that I don't get any of my news from the news channels. It's from Ammoland. It's from guys like that. It's from other guys, and even your YouTube channel, the John Crump News. I mean, there's different places that I get my information from, and the number one reason why is because I don't have to verify it. I know it's legitimate. And it's sad that I can pull a YouTube video and I have more faith and confidence in that from you or somebody else than I do with these people who call themselves journalists all over the planet.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mentioned this in a video the other day. One thing that's encouraging to me, and there's a lot of very cynical people out there, especially in like our little arena. But one of the things that's super encouraging to me is that there's more and more and more people on a regular basis, and I see that continue to climb upwards, who are questioning things, who are not sure that doesn't sound right, and they question it, or they'll research that, or I mean, you know as well as I do, they'll Google it, or they'll get on YouTube and type in a search phrase or something like that. I mean, sometimes I'll go in there and just look at what hashtags are trending on YouTube just to see what people are looking for. And it's interesting to me because people are looking, people are inquiring about that. They're not just taking the information they're spoon fed anymore and saying, well, it must be true, came from CNN or whomever. You know, they're going out there on YouTube and searching on these independent channels like what we do, and really trying to research their good and get some good information.
Yeah, what I want people to do is start doing a lot of their own reading. One of the things that I learned very, very early is I used to read peer-reviewed studies of different things. And a lot of times I would go into the data, and there'll be a title saying such and such, the study proves blah, blah, blah. And then when you actually go to the peer-reviewed study that the article is talking about, the news article is talking about, you read it and it's like saying the total opposite of what the story was saying. So they referenced a study that contradicted their article, and that leads me to the question: did they not read it, or did they read it and decide to link to it because they knew no one else was going to read it?
True. Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
I will say this, and you need to know this. If you put a link to something, I'm clicking on it. When you write a story, I am a reference geek. If you are going to link to anything, I'm going to go read it.
Well, I try to like link to the documents. Whenever I talk about a document, I try to like. Sometimes I can't because they have identifiable information in there, and I don't want to burn any of my sources. But if I can, I will. Bobby Ammoland will post the documents. One of the reasons why I like working with Ammoland is because they will post the documents. They just won't talk about the documents. They'll post the documents. So if you want, you can go look through the documents yourself. And usually they're embedded into the articles. It's not like you get to click here or anything.
Yeah,
they're embedded. So you can go down. Oh, there it is. Let me just go through and read it myself. And I really, really like that because that lets them. That lets the people be able to read through everything themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing frustrates me more than reading what's supposed to be a legitimate news organization or whatever online, and they reference, say, I don't know, so and so sent a letter to so and so's office, and it read, and they'll quote it, but they won't link to it. I'm like, really? Let me read the whole letter. I mean, how I know you didn't take those 3 words out of context or something like that? I want to read the whole thing. And I'm still one of those nerds that'll print stuff out. I mean, I've got stacks of papers in here. I've got my laser printer goes to town. When I start reading it, and if you link to a document, I'm printing it because I like to read stuff and draw on it, and make my own notes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, John, I think we're going to cut out of here in a second. Not that we have to, but I know you got things to do, and you're an hour ahead of me, so
yeah,
I don't want to take away from
put my kids to sleep and everything else.
Yeah. Well, look, I appreciate the time. I know Friday nights are one of your few nights that you have free. I know Monday through Thursday you do John Crump Live.
I do that at 5 o'clock. John Crump Live, 5 o'clock Eastern, with Flying Rich. And I check out his channel, flyingrich.com. I cannot say like a nicer thing. He's like the nicest guy in the world, and he literally is. And he's like my best friend. So got to shout him out in DLD After Dark. We have a little. And Shooting Gallery New England, those 3 guys are like my homies. Shooting Gallery, NE, DLD After Dark, and Flying Rich. Those 3 guys are like, I'm going to check. Like, I'm with Behind the Curtain. I have a text group with Paul, Tim, and Eric. And we talk about stuff. But I also have another text group with DLD After Dark, who I've known his brother before he was even born. So Shooting Gallery, NE, and Flying Rich, and those are the guys I bounce a lot of information off of, and we're a really close group, so I have to. Chris Shoemaker's subbed to all of those. He knows. We call ourselves the Black Swan family.
All right. By the way, again, I want to point this out again because we said it. I said it earlier, but I like the shirt. That shirt's got a nice touch.
Yeah. And let me just say, I'm not a Boogaloo boy. I told Paul that I was like, I got this shirt when I was in Hawaii. I'm not gonna stop wearing it.
You didn't get it. You didn't get it at Hot Topic. You actually got it on the island.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Right. All right. Well, John, we're going to cut out of here, man. Look, thanks so much for everything. And I appreciate all you do and look forward to, what you got coming out next. I will say this, whenever I wake up in the morning, I grab my phone. First thing I do. In fact, I'll show you when you go look at my phone. Look whose face it is. I use that to build the, that's literally who's up there. But when you look at all of my tabs, up at the upper left-hand corner, the first tab that I have is the Ammoland tab because it's first place I go to. I really legitimately go there.
Let me just say, Bonehead 88, you're damn right I am.
What'd he say?
Mumble rapper.
Oh, that's funny. A mumble rapper. That's actually pretty good right there.
Yeah.
Well, John, have a good evening. Apologize to your kids for me. I hate taking up Dad's time like that, but I do appreciate the time you spend with us and for everything you do for us in the Second Amendment community. I know you do a lot, and it takes away from your family. I think we all appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to take the weekend off, which usually doesn't work out. Hank Strange says every time I try to take the weekend off, he's like, "Yeah, right."
Well,
yeah, thank you so much.
Best of luck, and thank you a bunch. And I'll post some links to all John's stuff below. Just give me a little bit because I got to go in and bathe my son. So give me a little bit, and I'll post John's links into this replay video down below in the description, so you can find all this stuff there. Thanks again, John. I appreciate it, man. And again, have a great weekend.
All right, thank you, Paul. Bye.
You bet. Bye, guys. We'll see y'all next Friday night.